Hi, Carol here. A very warm welcome back to my craft room. I'm looking through the Happy Fall collection to see what I'm going to do with a card that I've had ready now for close to 3 weeks, probably 2.5 weeks now. I have been very sick and today's the first day up, and I'm so pleased to be able to share this card with you, but this technique that I came up with. I don't know if it's original, but I tell you, I haven't seen it on YouTube. I was thinking on how I could change a hybrid ink to an oxide ink. And then it clicked in, I gave it a try, and I'm telling you, the hybrid ink is one of my favorites and is the oxide ink. And I wanted to be able to share with you, if you don't have oxide inks, but yet you want the look of an oxide ink, this tutorial is for you. You're going to love the transformation from a hybrid ink to look like oxide ink. I thought, what better way to be able to show you vividly the transformation from a hybrid ink to the look-alike of an oxide ink. And I thought of trees. And I thought, okay, I'll just use the bottom trunk of trees and show you a few techniques in between. But I think you're just going to be so excited if you don't have oxide inks to get the look of an oxide ink. So here I just want to show you this little spin about. I put LDRS Creative. This is just for LDRS Creative. It's the sponges I keep aside with my other ones. This way I know they're specifically for using with the hybrid inks. This is a fun way to experiment with other inks that you have and transform them into something that you may not have in your stash, but you want the look of that particular item. And this is what I wanted to do. I was thinking on it, and I thought, you know, I use the oxide inks all the time, and I know that chalky look that you get. It's this smooth, chalky, non-vivid but not vivid, if you know what I mean. It's just a beautiful ink, the oxides, and vice versa. So is the hybrid ink. The hybrid ink is wet enough to do this technique. And I thought to myself, okay, if I want to get a chalky look and I want to move from hybrid to oxide, I'm going to put down the LDRS Creative white ink. Look how beautiful that white ink is. Ooh, it's yummy. So this is all you're going to need. The LDRS Creative white ink. I'm sure any ink would do, but I love this white ink. Then you're going to squeeze out, I use the golden white paint, okay, acrylic paint, any white acrylic paint. And here it's the golden white, and it's the nice thick white. So I wanted to do the trees. So get yourself a piece of white cardstock. That's what I'm starting with. Get your applicator, and we're going to have a white card base. This is my 140-pound white cardstock. And any cardstock that has a little bit, you know, from 100-pound up will work beautifully. And then you're going to dip the colors from the paint to the colors you're going to use. Now, these trees are going to be brown trunks. Excuse me if I keep saying trees, but it's just trunks. And I like to have a base underneath with that kind of appearance of having leaves, but not, because, right, it's only a trunk. It's not leaves, it's a trunk. And take your applicator and go from, now here I wanted to show you just the look using the paint, the white golden paint, acrylic paint. Now I'm sliding another piece of cardstock, and I used two, 140-pound to slide over, but really 100-pound would be good because you don't get that raise look, and you can see it. See how you see that little line? But then I love the separation of it. So using a higher look, and you can see here, if you press down, give it some pressure, forward, sideways, whatever you want, you can make those lines like it, you know, when you have a trunk that has bark kind of falling off. And my star of this card is the Peekaboo Autumn Breeze set. It's the die set. I have used this on so many projects. It's crazy. I can't be without this one and the one with the hearts. Now, we're going to do a wreath. I'm going to need, now this Peekaboo set, the Autumn Breeze, has 4 dies. The 2 leaves, the oval, and the actual background die. And it is for an A2. It's an A2 size, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So let's start. I want to share with you, when you make trees, you know how much I love creating trees. They're all different sizes. So you want to bend your page that you're holding down. And you're going to go from the paint. And if you look at this and you look at the LDRS Creative Oxide beside it, you can see the transformation from hybrid to the oxide look just by using either the ink, the white ink, or using the white thick acrylic paint. And this one I like by Golden, but I'm sure any would do out of your stash as long as it's white acrylic paint. Now, I'm going to keep going, and this is the underlayer of my brown tree trunks. So, and I love the fact that I decided to cut them, and excuse me, oh great, yes, you always know he's going to drop by when something is either sticky or it's inky. Love that little dog, don't you? It's great to be back. I'm so excited. And yeah, so here it's like looking into a forest. Okay, I'm starting to get excited here as I'm looking at this. Excuse me. It's like a forest of beautiful trees. So you want to lighten up the ones you want to look distant, and you want to darken up the ones you want to be in the forefront. So we all know that, right? And I put down 3 different greens. I'll have it over on my blog which ones I used in the hybrid ink. And you really do have to have your hand down on this paper, yes. Don't be afraid of getting dirty. Yeah, just get right in there. I end up getting right in there. I just didn't want to have any of the ink on my hands and then transfer it, you know. But later on, I just thought, oh, what are you thinking, Carol? You still have to do the browns to make these tree trunks look brown. But the green is going to look fabulous. Wait till you see how yummy it looks having this undercoat, base coat, whatever you want to call it. And just do some different size tree trunks as you're going along. So now I'm going to bend it. I'm going to have, you know, fat, nice chubby tree trunk here. And the look of realism in this is incredible. It really is. And I'm jumping from the ink, the white ink, the LDRS Creative Hybrid Ink, and I'm jumping over to the golden acrylic paint. And you will see, if you want to color with them using a brush to get that oxide look, you're going to love it. To do an oxide scene, you're going to love it. Just by using your, oh, we had to have an incoming email, right? Happens in every one of my tutorials. But yeah, for your base coat when you're doing trees, any trees, I like to do the 2 colors. I like to have the green underneath, and then I will transform it into the actual browns. And I think you really are going to see the look is identical. When I get finished and you're looking at this, you're going to think I did use the Oxide inks. And all you needed was a hybrid ink, a white ink, and acrylic white paint. And you are on your way to a total transformation look from hybrid to oxide. I'm speeding it up for you here just because, yeah, totally boring. But I wanted to show you how I tilt the page that I'm holding down, because you do want different size tree trunks. You know, skinny tree trunks, and you'll see here how I actually tap off to get a light version, and there's just so much. And keep those pages because we're going to use that to cut out our twigs. Here we go. Oh yes. So what I did, I grabbed the hybrid inks, the large ones here, and I ran them down a cream color. Now this is the Michaels paper, the 110 cream. And I love it because now that I have the tree base, I set that aside, and now I'm going to make all of my beautiful leaves. And I use the Martha Stewart little die punch right there, this little twig punch. And we're going to have quite a few of them. I'm going to go around. It took one sheet of each color that I made to make this wreath. So I just keep going around the edges. Yeah, your muscles will get a good workout with this. And if you want to keep that for a stencil, that's pretty awesome too. So here we go. I was feeling pretty good here when I was making this card 3 weeks ago. I couldn't have done that even yesterday. Yes, I seriously was very sick. I mean, when I'm down and out, I'm down, and that's how I was. Yeah, 3 antibiotics, and whoa, yes. So I put these in a pile, and I'm going to do the same thing with cream. So now I have this, and make sure you do the front and the back so that your twigs here that we're going to make the wreath out of is colored on each side. You don't want to have a cream colored because you will see it. Oh, here we go, another email. I so apologize. Yes, that was a nice email. That was from my friend Carol Lynn. Thank you so much for your email and your thoughtfulness, letting me know you've been praying for me. I do appreciate that. I have been away for 3 weeks. So here I want to do more of an oxide look on my twigs. I thought, you know, if I'm going all oxides, let's go all oxides, right? And you're going to use up your stash pieces of paper. So here I wanted to have orange and yellow with the greens, and I added some of the golden acrylic paint and also some of the hybrid white ink in there. And I'm just going around using up every section I have. And if you take your ink to the paper and you find you have, colors on that ink you don't want there, just rub it with a clean applicator. Oh, don't you tell me no. I don't know what he was telling me there. Yeah, just wipe it with your applicator and it'll come off the hybrid ink. LDRS Creative Inks are fabulous that way. They clean up wonderfully. So now I'm trying to pick out what sentiment I'm going to use, and I chose the Happy Fall. When I count my blessings, I count you twice. And I also use the little wee mouse with all the leaves because it's a leaf wreath. So I had to do that. So I set that aside. I got out my little Altenew die cutting machine here. I love this one because it's, I'm only using those 2 leaves out of the set, out of the die set. And then I'm going to pick how big I want my wreath. And just grab some of you around. It's dependent on how big your trees are. And look at that, they're already brown. I have to apologize here. Excuse me. I did not have my camera on when I did the brown. I just went back and looked through every video I had uploaded and there wasn't one. So please forgive me. But what you want to do the exact method. Excuse me. Here I'm just going to be cutting these 2 trees out of the one 6x6 paper that looks like tree trunks. Oh yeah, let's have a great big laugh. You can't be upset because those things happen, I'm telling you. And I love the fact that this wood grain piece of paper, the 6x6 pack, goes exactly with this wreath. But I want to quickly explain. Take your 2 pieces of paper, the one with the green, take your sliding paper and pick out 3 beautiful browns you like. And make some of the trees dark and some of the trees lighter brown, right over top of the green. using the ink and the acrylic paint, the same way you did the green leaves, and look, you end up with this beautiful look of different colored trunks. And you can see the fact that I put the dark tones to the front, the trees that I wanted closer to me, and then I went with lighter browns, and I actually added some yellow and orange to that. You can see the hues in the colors. So now we need to make the card base. This is not going to be an open card like you're going to have a fold in it. You're going to see what I'm going to do here. I want it a little wonky. I don't want it to be perfectly square, so I left it to have that more wonky look because the trees are going in different directions. And then that center, it's almost center trunk with the wide trunk piece on the bottom. You can see that that is always going to be my focus to where I don't get confused on having it right side up, if that makes any sense. So here we go. We're going to start the wreath. So I took a pencil and I drew a line around the die that I had to have a nice even circle. I'm going to go in two different directions, one on each side, adding glue like this. Then I'm going to reverse it. This is how you're going to get the look of a full wreath. I'm going to show you my way of doing twigs on, you know, it'll work with anything, but I'm just talking about having the twigs. You want to take the different colors. You can see at the upper right is more of the light greens to dark greens. The oranges are to the left of that. Then I have the nice cream colored ones, and I just took a light brown and pounced on the light colored twigs. And then I have more of the just plain light green and yellow to the bottom right. And then, of course, with that 6x6 pad of paper, we die cut the beautiful leaves. I think I called them trunks or trees or something earlier. No, they're just little leaves, and beautiful leaves to say the least out of this die, that Autumn Breeze die. Now, to make this full, I will go 3 layers going in the same direction. The right going up towards the center and the left moving in the same, you know, the same direction up to the top. But then I'm going to change it out and I'm going to do the opposite. And yeah, it's going to snow gold. And then I'm going to add some glue right on top because I am going to cover it. But then I end up putting glue on the glass mat just to dip in with my tweezers as we get thicker. And I think it's really pretty. I keep bringing it forward for you to see as I'm doing this and tucking each color in at the same place, if that makes sense. So, you know, you go with dark, light, white, orange, then go dark, light, white, orange, whatever direction, you know, you see, and then fillers. Fillers, I call them, go in the opposite direction. So if something is looking like it's just too smooth and it's too symmetrical, I'll change it up by putting fillers in, meaning it's going to go in the opposite direction and it's going to be a totally different color, as you can see there. And I think the cream twig adds to the actual wreath, don't you? It just breaks up the colors of the browns, the oranges, the yellows, the greens, and still you has the effect of the trunks just coming out at you. It doesn't disappear, even though the wreath is so much, you know, it's so big in retrospect of having tree trunks, you know. So yeah, whoa, here we go. So now I'm taking these light leaves and I'm going to place them here and there, bending them. So you get that 3D look of the leaf. Don't leave them flat, just kind of give a couple of bends in them. And then I decided, okay, Carol, take those nice colored, that paper pack that I used that had the tree trunks, that tree look, and add some little brown to the tips of them. And you can see I've grabbed the glue because now it comes the time I stop putting the leaves in and I need to add some more bulk. I need to make it fuller. And you know me, I like thick cards and I like full, full of anything. And that goes for a wreath. You want a nice fluffy wreath. It looks so pretty. And in real life, my friends, this card really does have an individual look all its own. And you would think just by putting tree trunks down, oh, how could you get a nice look of a card? But I'm telling you, it really does scream out Oxide inked project. from hybrid to oxide. Yeah, to the look of oxide. It's not gonna, I'm sure it's not the same ingredients as the oxide has, but it gives you that smooth, creamy, chalky look that you get with an oxide ink using the LDRS Creative Hybrid Ink. So here we go. I'm stuffing a few more of these natural wood. That's what I like to call it, the natural wood grain leaves in there. And I'm looking at the actual card, and the paper pack actually has wood grain. So when you die cut these leaves, you see the wood grain right in there, even if you color it, because I end up doing 3 different colors of brown to match the trees. So you'll see that a little later. Hopefully I didn't take that out of the tutorial. You know, it's terrible. It must have been, I'm going to blame it on my flu. Not my brains, just my flu. Yeah. So many things to remember when you're doing tutorials, isn't there? This Autumn Breeze die is going to be the stand for the back of the card, so that you're going to be able to flip it forward. It'll be flat to go into an envelope, or you're going to be able to fold it out so that this beautiful card rests on itself and it speaks for itself. You don't need to have a card with an inside, outside, upside down like I usually do. You know, a 14-sided card. You could just go with 2 sides here and it will be just as wonderful. And you know, having a wreath to me is so, I don't know, Christmas. It's so fall. It's so outdoors. You know, it's just wonderful. You can do any season with a wreath. So what I'm doing here, let's skip over. I'm going to take some Copics. I'm going to do the front and back of these leaves. Aren't they gorgeous? I mean, they are so realistic. And these are the little leaves, the 2 of them, that are in the Autumn Breeze Peekaboo die. So I'm going to continue with that, and I'm going to fill in the wreath with those after I go over the edge with the dark Copic marker. You always want to do that. And then I'm going to go over the light leaves here. Remember I said that I was going to put some little bits of brown on the tips because I think they got a little lost in there being so light. So I thought, let's put some Copic color in there. And when you add the brown, oh yeah, close up. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I switched over to my hot glue gun. I don't know why. There's no rhyme to my reason here. And then I love the way you kind of tuck your leaves, you know, you fold them so they have that little bit of bulk and that 3D look. And this is getting more woodsy and more barky and more trunky as I'm looking at it. I'm absolutely in love with it. And you have to admit that these tree trunks are oxide looking. They have that chalky look. You're not going to get this with just an ink. So just add your acrylic white or your white ink to the hybrid inks that you do have, and you will achieve the oxide look. That's what I'm going for, the look of an oxide in any color, just by adding those 2 combinations to your inks. It's as simple as that. This is not an easy it's not an easy. It is easy. I was going to say it's not a difficult card at all. Yeah, and here I go to say it's not easy. Well, some of my cards aren't that easy. You know, they're just time consuming. They're not hard, they're just time consuming. But this is an enjoyable piece because you're just doing the front and the back. It is, I think it has a look all to itself. It's very oxide. Even the twigs there look oxide colored. Now, I took the cream, I'm distressing the edges, and I'm going to put this on the back side of my tree trunk image here. We're going to put it right like that, and that way you're going to have that cream look. It's not going to be white. I don't think with the brown and the tones of the trees and the tones of the leaves, you should have a white back. The cream looks beautiful. The ATG works perfect. I think I ran out there and I had to do a changeover. And yeah, so here we go. There was something missing in that bottom corner. I'm looking at this. I'm going to set that aside because that is going to be our stand. But I want to get out that little critter with all the leaves. Like he's kind of pushing the leaves up in the air. He's down in the corner there. And this is the Happy Fall set, number 3099. Right there, look at that. I put it up there. Awesome. Yes. So here we go. Yeah. And I took the sentiment out because we're going to use the sentiment in the stand. I decided it's just too much to have a sentiment there. I also thought of doing like a flag sentiment and putting it through the wreath, but I didn't want to take away the look of the wreath, and I didn't want to hide any of the tree trunks in the center of the wreath. So that's why I didn't put anything there, and as far as a sentiment. Now, see that teensy-weensy little leaf there? It's not so teensy, but it's nice. You have all those leaves that this little mouse is sitting in, and then I add with my LDRS Versamark, the clear mark, and I put this on, and of course it's going to be gold, right? And I'm going to stamp some on here because I wasn't sure if I wanted to make him on one of those boing boing things. But then I chose not to. I'm putting that little leaf, and I'm putting the leaves like he's, you know, grabbing leaves and pushing them up in the air, having a good old time out there with the trees, with the bark, and all that yumminess. Now, I did use the sentiments here, but I didn't use the little guy, the little gaffer right there. Didn't use them. But he's as cute as a button. I just love LDRS Creative animals. They're so cute. Wait till you see the new release. I'm going to do that next. Oh, you're going to flip out. Seriously. It is a beautiful release. So now just put this down, get your gold ink, heat set it, and then color it in with your Copics. Easy peasy. Do it with the browns because it's matching those leaves, right? And go to your ease, you know, whatever you want. I put some green for his shirt. You can see that the gold, there's not a lot to have to fill in, so because the gold has done that for us. But he is so cute. And then I put a little red scarf because I did want to add Christmas in there. And what better color to add as an accent color than red? So here we go. We are going to add some red bells. Not only red bells, but I'm going to add gold, small ones. So I'm getting out my stash here, my jewelry stash. And what do you know? Colored little bells. Of every size, actually. Fancy that. I kind of like that big one. I was going to have it hanging with the sentiment on it, kind of in the middle, but I didn't. Yes, I went against that. It just, yeah. I loved the little bells, you know. That way if somebody shakes the card, you know, to death, you'd have to really shake, 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 shake to get a sound out of it because they're so tiny. But they do jingle, so that's nice. They are jingle bells. Yes, that big one really does jingle. It's a goodie. But I just thought the little accent of the gold because of my little gold mouse there in the corner. And it doesn't take away from anything. You know, sometimes if you just add too much, just the slightest little thing can be too much. But I really did love the fact that he had leaves. And this is my design team project from a few weeks ago. So sorry. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to tie them with little bows of this twine. Yes, I love stash. You know, people say about our stash we should de-stash. Well, the word de-stash, it just doesn't go in my vocabulary. I just don't like it. I like add stash, but I don't like de-stash. I mean, one day you're going to need something, and it's going to be that very thing that you got rid of. So I try to not do too much de-stashing. I do some, but not too much. So here we go. Little bells. Little jingle bells. And of course, there's another little jingle for you. Another email. I love it. So let's count them. I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I actually put 6. I should have put an odd number, but I put 6. And I think it just adds to it. Look at that. It's not overdone. It's not underdone. And I'm kind of really watch that overdone. I overdo my meat. I overdo a lot of things. But I don't like to overdo my cards. You know, there's something special. So run it through the little bell. And these, you know what? These are oval bells. They're not round. So they have a flatness to them on one side, which is really nice. And it just adds something, something. I can't still believe I did it in 6 instead of 7. It's and I put googly eyes on them. See down in there? Oh yeah. I didn't put that in my edit, but I mean, I'm almost an hour long again, but I did put googly eyes on the little mouse. I think it's just so cute. Just adds that little detail, you know? Just little details are awesome. And look at those trees. And don't they look like Oxide trees? Please tell me in your comment they look like Oxide trees, like Oxide ink. I was so excited when I thought of that. There's probably 422,000 tutorials out. But I'm gonna, you know, I thought of it in my own brain, so I'm gonna go with it. I'm not gonna say it's the only one out there, but I am gonna say that, I don't know, nothing's new under the sun, so there probably is a tutorial using inks with paint and look at that close-up. Isn't that so vintage? Oh, and he is so crazy cute with his little eyeballs. Yeah, Carol, get the eyeballs going in the right direction. Nothing worse than one up and one down, is there? But I really like it. I love the twine. I like the earthiness of this, and I love my tree trunks, I have to say. You know, it's just, it's authentic. I thought, listen to me here. Listen me out here. Yes, they'd be great for little Christmas table settings, you know. You could put little 3x4 versions of this beside your plate and have a burlap style napkin and tie it with twine. So crazy pretty. I'm not going to do that, but you could do that. It's too much work for me. Yeah. Anywho, when I count my blessings, I count you twice. Isn't this the cutest little sentiment? And I did it in gold, and it's going to go in the center of this beautiful Autumn Breeze die. So I cut the die out of the tree style 6x6 paper pack there, the woodsy one. I cut the die out of that. I cut a piece of acetate right there. See the acetate? The full size of this sheet. And this is going to be my easel. We're going to just have an easel holding that up, and it's awesome. I just think it's so cute. And I'm going to cut a cream one out of the Autumn Breeze die, the peekaboo die. I'm going to cut a green one to go on the opposite side, and then I'm going to put the same sentiment on the opposite side. So you know, sometimes you don't like to, if you're going to have an easel, okay, I'm going to jump in here and stop myself from yakety yakking. If you're going to have an easel, you're going to see the inside of it. Whether you think you will or not, you will. Somebody will notice that the inside's not done when you push the easel out. So you have to have the inside as well as the outside decorated nicely. And there you have it. And the stability comes with the acetate. And you know I buy the Page Protector acetate because it's nice and thick. It's my thing about thickness. And then I cut out with the Autumn Breeze Peekaboo die, that oval, with the sentiment from the Happy Fall 3099. And I think I'm going to have to go back and correct that. I think I keep saying 3009. It's 3099. And there you have it. So in the middle of each layer is the acetate there. And I just put it down with some really thin double-sided runner. Yeah, I was thinking, okay, I would use this, but I think I went with runner. I don't know. I'm watching it like along with you, but I thought that that being jammed up like this maybe saved me from doing it. We shall see. Yeah. You have to cut your paper inside out if you're going to put it on the back, right? Okay, so I guess I did. Oh, okay. Let me back up. This is going to be on the back of the paper. Then we're going to do it again. I'm going to have another sheet, I think. Can you see whether the acetate's on there? I'm trying to see. Maybe I put the acetate on this layer. We shall see when I turn it over. This acetate's so clean I can't tell whether the acetate's on there or not. But anyway, and then ghost it a little bit. That's why I put the glue. I wanted to shift it just a little bit so you had a little cream ghosting effect. See that? Yes, there is a method to my madness. There you have it. And then you want to cut it off, right? You only want a small ledge around the panel, the full panel. It's so pretty. And just because this die cut is A2 size, you can stretch it out. You know, it doesn't matter. And now I'm going to add these wonderful LDRS Creative cubes. So I just added the same colors with a light hand as I had in the wreath. And I love looking at that, just sitting there with the tree trunks and that oxide look of ink. I really do like it. And if you were coloring an object, say you were coloring that little mouse or any object, all you would have to do is mix those proportions on the side of your mat and work it with a paintbrush or your pencil, you know, the white pencil there. To add the ink, and I think you would get a wonderful oxide look to your projects using the white ink. Whoa, where'd that come from? Or the white paint, the acrylic paint. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. And this easel, I think, is so pretty once I show you how we swing around and do this. So once we get the colors that we like, I'm going to take it to my cutter and I'm going to trim it out. It's my trimmer, right? I call it a cutter. And I'm going to trim it out to kind of an easel size, making sure one side is pretty close to the other. And I just eyeballed it here. Yeah, there we go. And you can tell I made that little boo-boo, so I had to make sure I sharpened the, you know, I grabbed it and went slower as I was cutting. Yeah, I didn't switch out the blade. Oh, good night. I'd have to find the blade in my stash. So that wasn't going to happen. Yeah. Oh, I mean, you can be too organized. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that cute? And then you have the back here. I'm doing it again. I don't know whether I'm trying to make another mistake. I don't know. But here you go. There's our easel. That's what I'm saying about LDRS Creative. Their dies work for everything. Yeah. So, oh, here comes the acetate. Excuse me, it's not the time to be growing a flower here. Yes, now is when I put on the, I knew I did this later, and I just cut it with scissors. So now I have this thick acetate, which are covers. They're, I get them at the stationery store, and they're beautiful. They're nice and thick, gorgeous. So I put that on the back of this. Now you have the acetate to be able to glue this. Yeah, I want to make sure that the one that turned out the best as far as my embossing went was on the front. Yes. And you know what else it was? My red nail polish. I got a little bit on that other one at the top, just a little red mark. And I thought, okay, of course that's going on the inside, but what do I have to do first? Oh, yes. I have to glue that down. You can't see the acetate and all the glue on the back of that. Yuck. So you want to put that on first to get it situated. And because I put the liquid glue, I have a little bit of shift room. And I shift shifted it over just a tad. I'm putting this I think it's 1/16 of an inch. I don't think that's a 1/4 inch, but it could be, you never know. And now I'm going to take that off. I'm going to put it on my other sheet that I haven't cut out yet. If you have die cut into a sheet of cream, don't cut it to size first because you'll cut it later on the opposite side. See there? And then you can just grab your scissors and cut it. Doesn't have to be that perfect. And I love, oh, I didn't even do, I guess it does have to be that perfect. I didn't do it. I knew I did it with the scissors because it's got a bit of thickness there and it has the acetate, so I wasn't risking going down with my blade that isn't so sharp. I used my brains there. Fancy that. Now we're going to have to do the little gusset to have on the top so that it will flick out and flick in like that. So it's just a 1/4 inch, and then score it. Well, actually, I think it was 3/4 of an inch, and then I scored it twice in the middle, so you had a little bend in it. I have to see there. Yeah, so it's just a 1/4 inch on each side, so really tiny. Is that, yeah. I can't give you the exact measurement, can I? Yes, I think I can. The card is right in front of me. So let's measure that out. And it is a 1/4 inch. So you're going to make it a 1/2 inch and then score it in the center. I added 2 little score marks, I think, there. And then put some double-sided tape on and try and keep it real here, folks. And then you're going to hot glue it down. Because it's going to fold in and out, in and out, in and out, I didn't want to risk it right there with the double-sided tape. Kept thinking to myself, Carol, you're going to need to take that off and use hot glue. Not only that, there was too much space on the right than on the left. It was so uneven, it was crazy. I thought, Carol, what are you thinking? That doesn't look good. You're going to have to take that off. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get it off now? I really pressed on that double-sided tape. So you're just going to rip it off. Just rip. What's the bell there for? When you like something, you're trying to find a spot for it, but I didn't use it. Yeah, just set it aside, Carol. You can deal with that later. So I'm thinking, all right, this has to come off. Look at, on the left side, there's about 3/4 of an inch down the side, and on the right, it's about a 1/2 inch, and I just couldn't live with that. There's just no way. So I ripped it, and of course, when I ripped it, the paper came up. Just watch this. Oh yeah, isn't this beauteous? There we go. Yeah, there was a little bit of yuck here and there. So I'm trying it again, and I put the hot glue on it. Watch this, my friends. This is just hysterical. So I put the hot glue, and it went crooked on the bottom when I put the hot glue on it. So I had to tear it off again. So what happened with that, when I did that, I don't know when I did it, but I did do it. I tore it off, and then I added another piece of paper, which just gave me weight, which I like, you know, the weight of the paper. That was no problem. I hope I did keep it in there. See the hot glue on that one side when I tore it? You're going to have to, I hope I kept it in for you to see that. But if I didn't, I had to rip the hot glue off because the bottom wasn't even. And then I put another sheet on it. Oh, yes, isn't that pretty? And here we go with the hot glue, just a little bit, and I'm grabbing the twine that's on the front of the wreath. I took 4 layers, so I doubled up and then doubled up again, put a little bit of hot glue, and then, you know, this is so easy to do. It looks hard because you have all of these lines of twine, but it isn't. You grab it and it comes right into form, and you put it down. I don't know why I'm hiding it on you, but it does work. There we go. And press it down. And I left a little hanging. Yes. Come on. Just do it, Carol. Get it on there. And it's painful to watch sometimes, isn't it? I thought, oh, you better put some in the center. There you go. That was a good idea. Just to give me a little bit of wiggle room there. And it's that ruggedness. It matches the front. Matchy-matchy, that's always good. And then you cut the 2 sides even, and you do this twice. Yeah, so there's just 8 lines of twine. So there you have it. I've got the bottom half done, and I have to tell you, I just stopped the edit because I had to look and see whether I kept that tear with the hot glue in, because it just shows you, you can tear it off and still be happy with yourself. It's not going to bother you. But this bothered me. Can you believe I put twine on the back side of this easel bend? You know, the actual paper that folds in the fold. So I had to rip that off. That was another thing that I ripped off. And woo, yes. I'm thinking, Carol, are you kidding me? That's going to stick out from the card. And you don't want that if you're doing it. Look at this. Yeah, get it off. Here we go. This is what was really exciting. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Oh, yes. I thought to myself, yeah, at least it's even on each side. I know where to go, but I just ripped that, you know, I just got a cutting knife and tore alongside there. Yeah, it's kind of hard. There comes my cutting knife. Took it off. Carol, watch your hand there. What are you thinking? Yes. So I ripped it off, and then I cut another sheet of cream cardstock to cover that. But at least now I know where this easel's going to go, right? And I ripped the back of that twine off so that it laid out flush, and I was in like Flynn. There you go. This took a little while. Look at my thumb there. I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, chomp, chomp. You think I was out in the woods cutting those trees, wouldn't you? Look at that. That's what I like about cards, you know. People get these cards and they think it was just like easy peasy. You just, you know, created it in no time flat. Nothing happened. Everything was super duper. But no, things happen. And I love it because sometimes the second time around ends up nicer than your first thought of, you know, your first creative thought, because you have to think past that to cover up what you messed up. So, yeah. So I grabbed my 6-inch double-sided sequin tape here, and I'm going to put that on after I painfully cut it there. And, yeah. That's the back. I'm going to add that cream colored paper. Nobody's going to be the wiser that I had to tear it off. Excuse me. And I'll add a few strips of 1/4-inch double-sided tape along there. And we'll rip that off, the outside liner, and there you go. Isn't that sweet? I love this part of creating, of having to work past error. We all do it, I hope. You know, maybe there are people that can make a card without one mistake. I think that's awesome, but it's not me. I make a lot of them, and I learn from them, you know, what you can do and what you can't do. And here's another thing. Just set a sheet of paper over top and get the one angle even, like there on the left, and then you can cut the other side off. And we can start all over again. Because remember, this is cattywampus. It's not perfectly square. Yes, because of the trees being a little wonky, that's what I wanted to do. So here we go. I only have one chance at it with that hot glue. So I am taking it to me, I think, and going to put a little bit down and then just keep adding a little bit. Wasn't that exciting to watch? You know me. Yeah. And at the same time, you're remembering it has to be centered. You want the same size on one side of that easel as the other. So yes, I didn't have to do any more. It just came through for me, and I was super happy. This fell off, but that's okay. And see how I left a little bit on the outer edges? Isn't that cute? And it matches the bows in the wreath on the opposite side. And then I'll fluff that up, and you know, the recipient can fluff it up when they get it in the mail. And there you have it. And we are just about fit. Oh, yes. Hello. He had to make another entrance on this because I was working with glue, right? Yeah, so we'll get that down. We'll get all the little boogers off. And we are going to call this an easel card. And I love it. And this is Hybrid Inks to mimic an Oxide ink. And I think it does it superbly. I'm very happy with that thought. Yes. Of just adding the ink or the paint. I did both. I did the paint and the ink. You can mix them all up. It works out perfectly. I added another strand here. Make sure I secure it with the hot gun. And my friends, this is my LDRS Creative Design Team project for November. I actually made it before it was December 1st. Oh, yeah, I kept thinking that. Oh, Carol, try and get up there and get this edit and voiceover done in the month of November. So I did it. Yeah, and then I just went along there to make it look nice. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you to all my subscribers, to my new subscribers. It's wonderful to meet you. Thank you for your comments. I really appreciated that. And give this hybrid ink a try, making it look like Oxide inks. Very affordable, and you get that same look, that nice chalky look of an Oxide ink using your hybrid inks. So you have yourself a very blessed week, and I'm going to see you shortly on another tutorial. I'm going to show you the new release for LDRS Creative. You're going to be in love. So have a blessed week, have a blessed day, and I will talk to you on my comments. Take care, everybody.